You don't need a 21-day ritual, sunrise affirmations, or flickering candles in a darkened room. What you need is one word, spoken from the right place, at the right time. And when you do, it won't register in your thoughts, it'll ripple through your skin, your gut, your entire energetic field. This isn't sorcery. It's resonance. It's spiritual neurobiology. And yes, it might unsettle you, because we're not used to wielding such power with our voice. We've been taught to plead, not proclaim. To beg the universe, not awaken it from within. Deepak Chopra has said it countless times, the universe responds to frequency, not desperation. What you're about to receive isn't something to use casually. One time may be enough, if you speak it with clarity, from your core, as the field itself, not as someone asking for scraps. Imagine a verb that doesn't describe reality, it builds it. Not just any verb, but a quantum one. A word that, when spoken in full alignment, becomes a vibrational command. Not a statement trying to convince, but a broadcast that allows no contradiction. This verb isn't uttered out of habit. It's released. Activated. Delivered. Like a seed that already contains the fruit. And the astonishing part, it works. But not for everyone. It only works for those who are ready to use it once and never again. Because if you speak it with doubt, nothing shifts. But if you speak it with certainty, with presence, with exact resonance, there's no turning back. What you declare becomes real. What we're revealing isn't a manifestation method. It's a vibrational event. Your mind may try to grasp it, but your body already knows. Feel that tingling, that subtle hum, that quiet electricity moving through you as you listen. This isn't suggestion, it's remembrance. A memory of what you once knew but forgot. You weren't born to wish, you were born to radiate. You weren't made to fit in, you were designed to create. And everything you need lives in the frequency you haven't yet fully spoken. What if today was the day? What if this video helped you release that precise word, that perfect tone, that master verb capable of reshaping your entire reality? And what if, in doing so, something aligned, and something else broke? Because when you speak a quantum verb, not everything turns to light immediately. Sometimes, what's impure collapses first. And that can be frightening. True power doesn't just build, it purifies. This isn't entertainment. It's a reminder of who you truly are. Not to give you more information, but to help you become the signal you've been waiting for. And I'll be brutally honest, if you reach the end and use this word as shown, you won't be the same. The question isn't whether it works. The question is whether you're ready for what begins to move when you do. Before your lips part, you're already speaking. Before sound takes shape, your body has already declared it. Because in the quantum realm, there are no secrets. Only pre-vibrations. Energy that either empowers or cancels the word's force. That's the first principle of the quantum verb. Words don't create through meaning, they create through the vibration that precedes them. You can say, I am abundant, 1,000 times, but if you're feeling scarcity, anxiety, or pressure inside, your word doesn't vibrate, it groans. And the field responds not to what you say, but to who you are when you say it. Deepak Chopra emphasizes, intention isn't a thought, it's an energetic direction, backed by coherent emotion. This isn't improvisation, it's cultivation. A feeling before the word is spoken. It becomes an atmosphere. That's why the quantum verb can't be used in haste, in panic, or as a last resort. It must arise from a pure, steady, integrated inner center. It must be born as truth that needs no proof. And it begins in silence, not absence, but presence. A silence full of stillness, a calm center, a point from which the field listens. The most common mistake in manifestation is trying to use words instead of entering the vibrational state. But there are no shortcuts. If you don't hold the energy, the word won't hold. Think about it. Have you ever heard, I love you, and felt it was hollow, awkward, fake? That wasn't a word, it was a missing vibration. Now remember when someone looked at you in silence, and you understood everything. That's the difference. So before you speak, pause. Breathe. Feel your emotion. Ask yourself, does what I'm about to declare truly match me? Or am I using it as spiritual placebo? The field can't be fooled. The universe doesn't respond to poetic phrases. It responds only to what's aligned, what's alive. Deepak Chopra calls this the subtle architecture of presence, the invisible place where your thoughts, emotions, and biology harmonize into one melody. From there, every word is a directive. From there, each phrase is a code. That's why the quantum verb is prepared. Not repeated like an empty mantra. It's held like an internal drumbeat. And it all begins with honesty, with the hard question, am I truly vibrating at the frequency of what I'm about to say? If not, better to stay silent and prepare the ground. There's no shame in that. No mistake. Only respect, for the field and for yourself. To dwell in vibration before the word is like tuning an instrument before the concert. It's soul calibration. It's space creation. It's telling the universe, I'm ready to speak from my center, not from fear. And that's when the extraordinary happens. When you're in that vibration, words become almost unnecessary. Reality begins to shift before anything is spoken. And then the word isn't a tool, it's confirmation. I want you to feel that. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine you're about to speak the most powerful sentence of your life. What emotion would fuel it? What emotion would fuel it? What part of your body would radiate it? With what certainty? And if that sacred word were about to escape your lips, what would you need to release? What thought would you let go of? What fear? What story? Because if the channel isn't clear, the message won't pass. If the noise isn't silenced, it won't be heard. If you're not living in your truth, your word will be a mere echo of who you wish to be, not a declaration of who you already are. And now that you're here, now that you understand, I want to offer you something more intimate than any affirmation. Write in the comments, I attune before I speak. Not for trends. Not for algorithms. Write it like someone sharpening a blade before battle. Like someone breathing before the leap. Like someone silent so their voice can thunder. This act isn't symbolic, it's vibrational. It's your first signal to the universe that you'll no longer beg, that you'll speak from a different place, and that what follows, you'll hold. Because when you speak the quantum verb, there are no excuses. What you say, becomes. Not your mouth issues the command, but your field. And your field isn't born from thoughts or air. It rises from your body. Yes, this imperfect body, sometimes tired, sometimes tense, sometimes forgotten, but deeply sacred. Most people try to attract without involving the body. They meditate, visualize, repeat phrases, but they do it from the head, while the body remains frozen, stuck, disconnected. And that's why nothing shifts. The universe doesn't respond to ideas. It responds to vibration. And true vibration comes from the body. Deepak Chopra explains it simply, yet profoundly. The body isn't just biology. It's the vibrational interface between you and the universal field. Every cell is an antenna. Every suppressed emotion, a brake. Every relaxed muscle, a vibrational expansion. Once you truly grasp this, your way of living begins to shift. Have you ever noticed how sometimes you say something, and it feels off, even to yourself? Not because your mind doubts it, but because your body doesn't stand behind it. Your breath stutters, your shoulders tighten, your belly clenches. You say, I trust, but your energy hums with hesitation. That's why, before you speak a quantum verb, you must awaken your physical instrument. You don't need to dance, though that could help. You don't need yoga, though it wouldn't hurt. What you do need is presence. Conscious breath. Movement that shakes off the numbness. Your body isn't a distraction from spiritual practice, it's the stage, the channel, the altar. Take a walk before you declare. Feel the soles of your feet. Let your voice rise from your chest, not your throat. Let your words surge like a wave from your belly. Speak with your body before your tongue. No powerful word exists without the support of embodied energy. And this isn't just mysticism, it's biology. Deep breathing activates the vagus nerve, lowers cortisol, and brings your heart into coherence. Gentle movement releases dopamine, oxytocin, and neurotransmitters that recalibrate your electromagnetic field. You're tuning your frequency. So what does a body look like when it's ready to radiate a quantum verb? It's not rigid. Not over-controlled. It's open. Alive. Present. It's not about posture, it's about readiness. Your body should feel like a tuned instrument. Relaxed, yet focused. Light, yet grounded. Quiet, yet brimming with power. Don't skip this step. Many fail not because they lack intention, but because their body isn't involved, and that creates an energetic gap. You can't radiate coherence if your muscles are clenched in fear. You can't declare abundance if your chest is closed. You can't summon love if your belly is bracing for impact. Your body speaks. And if you ignore it, no command will land. Start by listening. Ask yourself each morning. What part of me doesn't want to speak today? Don't force an answer, just feel. Maybe it's your throat. Maybe your legs. Maybe your heart. Give it space. The quantum verb isn't forced, it's allowed. And to allow it, it must be embodied, not just soul, not just mind, but bridge, channel, living antenna, radiating through every fiber. Only then are you ready to speak the word that reshapes your reality. Every word has a body, but it also has a flame. That flame is the emotion it carries. Tone isn't sound, it's emotional frequency. If you speak from fear, even if the words are positive, the field is tainted. Say, "Thank you," with anger, and the universe doesn't feel gratitude, it feels dissonance. Say, "I trust," while your nervous system screams, "Run," and you're not creating, you're contradicting. This is where the second principle of the quantum verb comes in. A word without aligned emotion isn't a command, it's a whisper. Deepak Chopra explains it clearly. Elevated emotion, backed by intention, becomes a vibrational signature the field recognizes as a directive, not a plea or wish. And you can't fake it. Real emotion is wild, but it can be cultivated. You don't need ecstasy. You don't need to shout. Just feel the truth of what you're about to declare. Imagine saying, "I am free," while your cells tremble with joy. Imagine saying, "Everything flows to me," while your chest opens like a gateway. Imagine saying, "It's already done," while your eyes well up, because something inside you knows. Yes. It already is. That's the key. Not fleeting emotion, but sustained. Sustained emotion is the vibrational glue that anchors your intention into the fabric of reality. And tone is the emotional timbre that speaks to the universe. It's true for me not because I see it, but because I already vibrate it. So don't speak until you feel it. Don't declare until every part of you says, "Yes. This is real." Because when that happens, no doubt can stop you. No past can interfere. No pattern can hold. The word becomes an act of power, and that power isn't in the magic of the word, but in your emotional alignment with it. If there's no fire in your chest, there's no transmission. If there's no tenderness in your voice, there's no connection. If there's no certainty in your belly, there's no creation. So before you use the quantum verb, pause. Ask yourself, what emotion am I feeling right now? Don't judge it, just observe. If it's not the right one, wait. Breathe. Feel. Hold. Emotion isn't invented, it's allowed. And when the right one arises, gratitude, trust, love, joy, begin to raise your purity. Then speak. Then yes. Because then, what you say will be sealed with vibrational fire. Your word won't be a pretty phrase, it'll be a code, a trigger, a creative impulse. And the universe will respond, because the field always answers tone, not form. It hears the emotional vibration, not the syllables. Now I ask you, the one listening. What was the last word you spoke with such raw emotion that your entire body vibrated? If you remember it, write it in the comments. Do it as an anchor. As a power move. As vibrational memory. Write that word now, the one you once spoke and felt shift something in you or your reality. Don't do it for me. Do it for yourself. Because naming it reactivates its field. That word still floats in your quantum space, waiting for you to reclaim it. Say it, and watch. It might be the portal you haven't yet crossed. Now that you know this, you can't go back. You can't speak the way you used to. You can't repeat phrases just to repeat them. Because now you know the sacred formula that turns any word into a quantum detonator. Embodied presence. Sustained emotion. Pre-vibration. 3 elements. 1 moment. And that moment is stronger than any long visualization, any 20-step method. Because when those 3 align, you don't wish, you declare. You don't wait, you summon. Think of it this way. Your body is the altar, emotion is the flame, and pre-vibration is the invisible incense. The word is just the spark, the explosion. Everything else is preparation. When Chopra speaks of quantum intention, he's not talking about positive thinking. He's talking about aligning so deeply with your inner truth that the universe can't help but reflect it. Not because you beg, but because you embody. And what does that look like in practice? It looks like someone who doesn't speak quickly. Who doesn't repeat without soul. Who pauses before saying something important. Who breathes. Closes their eyes. Listens to their body. Connects to the exact emotion. Feels the truth before voicing it. And then, they speak. And that word, which might seem ordinary, is actually a vibrational shot. It doesn't need to be exotic. It can be simple. Yes, I'm ready. This is mine. I already am. But if that word comes from the precise point of alignment between body, emotion, and field, then there's no turning back. The universe has received the command. Reality has begun to shift. You don't need instant results to know it. You'll feel it, because something inside you will change effortlessly. Because that word isn't expression, it's creation. And here's the final secret. You don't need to repeat the word if it was spoken from your center. You don't need to say it 10 times a day. 1 time, with full presence, is enough. But only if you were sincere. Only if you were aligned. Only if you were whole. Because the universe doesn't respond to quantity, it responds to truth. Are you ready? Now that you've arrived at this point in the journey, let's take the next step together. I won't ask you to write your desire. I ask for just one word. A single word that, if spoken from your core, with full emotion and embodied truth, can shift your entire energetic field. Don't explain it. Don't justify it. Just leave it in the comments like a seal, a doorway, a gift. It might be your power word, your personal affirmation, even just a syllable. But it must vibrate, ignite, summon. Do it, and don't underestimate it. Because if you speak it from the right place, you've already activated your first quantum verb. Everything that follows will simply be the echo. You've spoken it. It's launched. And though the world may look unchanged, something has already been released. Here's what no one tells you. When you speak a quantum verb from your true center, not everything lights up instantly. Sometimes, what's misaligned begins to collapse, and that can be unsettling. The old resists. Structures built on fear begin to creak. Relationships rooted in need stretch thin. Projects that never resonated stall. People who don't match your frequency fade away. This isn't punishment, it's purification. The quantum verb doesn't just summon the new, it clears out what no longer supports your vibration. And yes, it can hurt. It can confuse. It can feel uncomfortable. Because often, the first thing that follows a true declaration is chaos. But it's sacred chaos, a restructuring, an invisible recalibration that begins carving your new reality like a sculptor chipping away marble to reveal the form within. Deepak Chopra explains this through quantum physics: when your energy shifts, old potentials collapse, and new pathways open in the field. But that collapse isn't always gentle. Sometimes it's seismic. Sometimes radical. And this is where many give up, thinking it didn't work because everything feels uncertain. But the soul knows, trembling is movement, disorder is renewal, and silence is preparation for the echo. That's why it's vital not to retreat, not to misinterpret the stillness that follows the quantum verb. There's a phase Chopra calls the quantum incubation space, a moment when everything seems still. But in truth, the field is reconfiguring every particle. The mind hates this. The ego resists. But if you endure, the miracle arrives. Not a spectacle. Not fireworks. But something internal. A subtle shift. A quiet peace. A deep knowing that whispers, it's already aligning. You can't force it. You can't control it. You can only accompany it with presence. If you feel lost, if nothing makes sense, congratulations. You've stepped out of control and into mystery. Where the verb works, not on the surface, but deep within. Not in the instant, but in the eternal. Your only task now is not to resist what you've declared. Don't plant doubt in the field. Don't speak again from lack. Don't try to fix what the universe is already adjusting. Be silent if you can't hold your vibration. Stay present if fear returns. Give thanks, even if you see no result, because that, too, is part of the process. The quantum verb isn't a magic trick, it's a key to transformation. And like any key, it opens doors. Some lead to light. Others to your shadows. But all are necessary. All lead to one place, the version of you that's been locked away, waiting for permission to be spoken. After the tremble comes the void. After the declaration. The waiting. But this waiting isn't passive. It's a vibrational test. A soil where the frequency of your request is tested. Because speaking the quantum verb once is powerful. But living as if it's already true, that's mastery. This is where embodiment begins. You've spoken the word. Shifted the field. Felt the tremble. Now the universe watches, can you hold what you've declared? Because what comes to you depends not just on the moment of speaking, but on your ability to keep that frequency alive. This isn't performance. It's not a game. It's not pretending. It's living. Breathing as the one who already is. Walking as the one who already has. Seeing as the one who already knows. Chopra calls this living from your future reality. Not imagination. Not distant visualization. But present-day embodiment, in your gestures, your choices, your silences, your habits. It's easy to say, I am abundance. But how do you treat yourself? Easy to say, I am love. But how do you respond when an old wound reappears? The quantum verb doesn't end with the word. It begins there, and spreads into everything you do. Speak. Think. Allow. Reject. If you've declared, I am light, but keep speaking from darkness, you sabotage your creation. That doesn't mean you can't feel fear or sadness. It means that even in pain, you choose coherence. That even when the old voice returns, you no longer let it have the final word. This is the most fragile moment, between two worlds. The old, still visible. The new, not yet fully formed. Many retreat here. But if you've reached this point, you're not one who retreats. You're one who stays. Who embodies the word, even if the world hasn't caught up. Who holds the declaration as an anchor, not a hope. Because when the universe sees you no longer need signs to believe, signs begin to appear, not because you asked, but because you already vibrate as if you received. This isn't empty motivation. It's vibrational physics. The field responds to coherence, not insistence. So now that you've spoken the verb, your task isn't to repeat it, but to become it. To be the living echo of that word. The embodiment of your own declaration. If you said, freedom, then everything in you must breathe freedom. If you said, peace, let even your silences speak peace. If you said, today, don't be afraid to leave behind who you were. Because that's the price of claiming a new version of your life. You must say goodbye to the one who couldn't live it. And yes, it hurts. But it also liberates. You've arrived. You're no longer who you were. Even if the outer world hasn't changed, your inner field has. Your vibration has shifted. Your word is no longer an empty echo, it's a living command. Now you know how to hold it. Now you know you don't need to repeat it 10 times a day. One time is enough, if spoken from your center, with emotion, with body, with truth. Now you understand why it hurts. Why things move. Why sometimes everything falls apart before the new arrives. And most importantly, now you know, the real work isn't in declaring, it's in embodying. Because the quantum verb isn't a tool. It's an identity. And living from it requires commitment, not to the universe, not to algorithms, but to yourself. To be the one who has already declared. Who has already activated. Who has already spoken what needed to be spoken. And then to walk as if it's already in motion. Because it is. If you still struggle to see it, if you feel nothing has changed, if doubt creeps in, remember, the quantum field doesn't operate in linear time. It moves in resonance. What you've emitted has already been received. It's already on its way back. The only question now is, will you vibrate high enough to recognize it when it arrives? You don't need to understand everything. You only need to trust. And if doubt returns, don't punish yourself. Just remember. Return to center. Return to body. Return to tone. Return to silence, the vibration from which all things are born. That's your source. That's your altar. And from there, you may speak your word again, if you choose. Not because you need to. But because you now know what it means. And now, before you step back into the world, into your habits, into your story, make one final vibrational act. I'm not asking you to comment for the sake of commenting. Do it as if you're offering yourself. Do it as if you're honoring yourself. Do it as if you're remembering yourself. Write in the comments, the word you spoke. Do it if this journey stirred something in you. If it touched a sleeping truth. If it unlocked a code you hadn't yet activated. If it awakened a part of you that always knew, but was afraid to speak. And as you write, pause for a moment. Feel that word vibrating in your chest. Feel if there's truth in it. Feel if something inside you has settled. Because if you feel that, even for a second, there's no going back. You've already begun. You've already entered the field of those who create from soul, not fear. And now, to close this journey, not with an answer, but with the only tool that always transforms, a question. A question that doesn't rush. That doesn't seek likes. That wants to plant a seed in you. A question the quantum verb always whispers to those who are ready. If your word has been spoken, if your field has received it, tell me. Who will you dare to become now, knowing that everything misaligned with that word will begin to fall away?